Damn it, I was going to ask that.
You know what's funny? People always say that. People always say bring back Topps Total. And the same kind of thing happened with opening day. We got rid of it and I said, bring it back. And then we brought it back and then like no one bought it. So it's one of those products that I love it. It's you know, it's the big, it was always touted as the biggest set in the industry. And I really wish we could bring it back, but I don't think we'll get the support from the stores once we have it out to actually make it one of our 17 products. But I would love to, but we wouldn't get the support right now.
Just so for the whole group, typically when we have a deal with NFL, we're limited to the number of releases. So what happened in the old days, we wouldn't be hitting our numbers, and we would probably irresponsibly just keep throwing brands out there to make money to hit our numbers. I think the leagues recognize and we recognize that that wasn't in the best interest of the collectors because it created confusion and the products had no life cycle, they couldn't breathe. So every deal we have now specifically tells us how many products we can release a year. So to Clay's point, it's difficult. Like, if we weren't limited on the number of releases and we could make it profitably and we felt like we could get enough orders, Total would be a no-brainer. But when you only have, say, however many slots, you have to make really tough decisions in terms of what those 12, 15 slots should be. And again, back, you know, we are a business, so we got to maximize those slots because we have to pay the leagues enormous guarantees, so we don't want to be short. So I think at our inner level and our kid level, we'd all like to do Total. But when it comes to business and only having 12 slots, it's hard to justify.
And just to add to that, I think 2005 was the last year we did Total, is that right? Sounds right. 2005 out of all the baseball releases, it was our least sales volume out of any product release and our least profitable. So that's really where the decision comes. We basically offer it to the consumer, and if the consumer doesn't buy it, that tells us that we don't invest in it anymore. So really the decision was made for us because, like these guys say, it's profitable, and you know each release is very precious to us, and we want to maximize the opportunity to the collector in our sales volume. And Total, because I've heard the same thing. I've met with stores, and they say, "When are you going to bring back Total?" And I say, "When you're willing to buy it." You know, that's what it comes down to.
You know,
Not enough people are.
The best part about Total was you didn't have like middle relievers from teams calling you and going, "Am I going to get a baseball card?" Because then you can say, "Oh, well, we'll put you in Total."
The second question was, why are you guys here this year? I know in years past it was in Topps present at the National, but this year you're here, you're doing a panel, you guys have a redemption giveaway. Just curious as to why the change this year.
Business decisions. So I think this year we have a duty and responsibility to be here, given we are basically the exclusive trading card company, and I think we need to be a leader. And I know I personally, and David and John and Clay all felt that it was very important for us to be here. To be fair, the last 2 years, the decision was made that one time, 2 years ago, the economy fell apart and things were horrible. And to be fair, our business was horrible, and we were focused on trying to fix our business. And at that point, it just didn't make sense to be traveling. To be fair, I think a lot of people in the room felt it in businesses. Like there weren't dollars and there weren't resources, and we were focused and dedicated to figuring out how to get our business out of the depths of where it was. So it was business decision. This year, things are better. And we feel like it's our responsibility to be here. And my hope, as long as I'm here and as long as I'm part of the leadership team, is that we'll be here supporting the hobby. And I think for the guys on here, they agree with that.
And I'll speak to that real briefly. The thing is, I haven't been with Topps that long, and we haven't had a sort of a social media presence that long. And especially with the National, not that they hadn't planned on coming anyway, but I kind of showed up and tried to figure out what everybody wanted and what everybody was talking about and that kind of thing. And one of the first things that people asked me was, why aren't you guys at the National? Why don't you go to the National? So one of the first things I went to these guys with is, why don't we go to the National? And they, so I'd kind of like to reiterate the point that you guys through me a little bit, have somewhat, I'm naive and I bug these guys all the time, and now I go upstairs to their offices and they hate it because.
20 emails a day.
Yeah, I get, Clay literally gets like 20 emails a day from me, just coming to him with the things that you bring to me. So, we want to make ourselves more accessible. We want to do things like this. We want to put ourselves out there, and there is a commitment to it. And you can pester me for stuff like that, and I will absolutely pester them because nothing makes me happier. Who hasn't asked the question? Somebody can go ahead.
Just a question, it's an easy question. Do you have any plans for for basketball? Any special releases or anything new for basketball?
Competitively, we can't really talk about that.
In the back?
With your renewed success, do you have any plans, future plans for giving back to the community and charity?
No.
I mean, it's a good question.
Our cards are biodegradable.
I don't have an honest answer for that. I think it's a fair question, and it's probably something as an organization we overlook. That's not to suggest that we don't care about the communities. I can tell you personally, we do get a lot of requests often for fundraisers. We get a lot of requests for Little League and youth baseball, and we typically always handle those requests. We work a lot with baseball, and we're always donating items for charity and for auctions. And I don't know if that's enough, but I think people here recognize the importance of giving back to the community and donating. And I think while it's done quietly and the broad collective community doesn't know about it, I mean, we are doing things. But to be fair, there's probably broader, bigger things that we could do as an organization.
You know, just for curiosity, because I think that's a great question too. And we do, from the sales side, we do get involved with accounts on many, many levels where we're doing different types of fundraisers for different events. You know, from doing events for children that have had illnesses where we donate prizes in our time and we try to support and promote the event. Is there anything that do you have any recommendations on areas that we should look into that you would think would be a benefit for the company?
Really, just not at this time, but I think, education in general, with education funds being continually cut, it's going to be a while before our industry